What's the story with this Bermuda grass thing in the back to Eden method anyway? Folks are always questioning whether or not they can keep the back to Eden method in check and in play organically and also manage their Bermuda grass because it's like an invasion. And if you don't take specific measures to prevent the invasion, you end up with specific problems. In particular, some of the problems are because Bermuda grass is more than happy to root horizontally underground, utilizing what are referred to as rhizomes. They can do something simple above ground, near the surface of the ground, with stolons. And those stolons are basically horizontal stems that are more than capable of bridging large gaps. And what I'm going to do is I'm actually going to turn you around and show you what I'm talking about, because one of the techniques that we use here at the farm is the living cut edge. And basically what that is an edge that is cut into the ground that surrounds the garden bed. It can be freeform, it can be any shape, but it allows you to get into the hardpan or the native earth below and provide a gap, almost like what a moat used to be to a castle. And that means that when you've got wandering and migrating grasses, things like Bermuda grass, it gives you an opportunity to have some separation between your field of Bermuda grass and your growing space where you don't want the Bermuda grass. I'm going to show you what this looks like. This area right here has been Bermuda free for its entire existence. But if you look around it, that's all that's here is Bermuda grass. Bermuda grass, Bermuda grass, Bermuda grass, Bermuda grass. And it would like nothing more than to actually get into this, because I maintain this cut edge. All right, I'm going to get close to the ground. You're going to be able to see all three ways Bermuda grass can enter. Okay? This right here, that's an example of a stolon. This is another example of a stolon. Comes across here. If there was dirt over the top of this, we'd be calling it a rhizome. I can pull this out just because I have this cut edge. And I can bring it back across to the field, separate it or leave it be, and come back and collect it with the lawnmower. Here, look a little bit lower, you can start to see, again, these lighter color members here. Those are more than happy to grow underground. When they grow underground, we refer to it as a rhizome. And because of this cut living edge, I can pull them right out. They sit there, I'll run those over with the lawnmower, it'll have the grass catcher attached, and all will be good. And you can go up the way here and you can see even other forms of grass like crabgrass, they don't really do well. The coloration is poor for a grass. I wouldn't want my grass that colored. I'd be upset if it was that yellow, lime green. But this stuff pulls out easy because it's still in the hydration zone. This area stays moist. We can talk about moisture. You have these rain events, you also have seeding events. I'm going to get up to that. That's the third way that these things migrate. Actually, we're looking right at it right now. These seeds have already fallen into the trough and were gently washed down into the grasses below. But if these seeds had fallen on the top of the bed, we'd have a seeding event inside the bed. So because I have this cut edge right here, we'll go further up. Those are Bermuda grass seeds. See how small they are? No, right? Without glasses, you wouldn't know. I have glasses on, but those are so small, it's even hard to see them with glasses. But if that sits over the top of the garden or is cut with your lawnmower and blown into the garden, you're going to have Bermuda grass in the garden. But if you've got this sort of living edge cut, look at how easy it is to manage this. It's so easy. I purposely left it unmanaged and unkept just so I could shoot this video. Okay? Let's look over here. See that? It's growing underground. That's rhizome growth, even though it's attached to this. But because of this gap that I have here, it's easy to just come in here with a hand, pull it right out. This stuff's not going to invade my back to Eden garden. Rhizomes. If you don't get them all, you're going to have problems. The beauty of the back to Eden method is the soils are soft. Most of the time these, once they get into that soft soil, they're going to grow above the native earth. That was easy to pull out. Again, it's going to get put into the pasture, and I can come back through here when I do my regular lawn maintenance. That'll get vacuumed up and it'll get turned into compost. So let's take another look on the other side. It's the top edge. Very clear and easy to see how much Bermuda grass is around here all the way to my compost pile. Yet, it has to bridge this cut edge, this ravine, and I can just reach down and pick it up and pull it out. If you got a mechanical edging tool, you can use that right here to give it a little shave and a haircut the whole way down. These edges can be freeform. They don't have to be straight like this one. But here you go again. See how small those seeds are? Contrast against my hand. We've got to keep these from becoming loose and inside the bed. So periodically, you just come through and pull them out by hand. It's so easy to do. You can use scissors, regular scissors, to do this. It doesn't matter what it is that's growing against this living edge. It's not growing inside the garden. These chips are already a year old, so they're really not that resistant to germination. I've got to get new chips here. I'm a little bit behind. I've been doing other things. Yes, that's a giant aloe plant. Yes, those are azaleas, euonymus, mums, all kinds of stuff. There's 2 lemon trees in there. But nevertheless, the area you see before you, I don't want Bermuda grass growing in there. I don't need the competition. I don't need the maintenance. You can't cut it in there. You'd be sending wood chips all over the place. We don't want that. But you can see, let me get close again. That's grass right there. But the grass isn't really thriving. Believe me, it's not. If you step on that a couple times, what's going to happen is it's just going to die. But it's so easy to pull out. And eventually you will get noisy neighbors that ride by on 4-wheelers and disturb your peace. It's all good. I got my space, they got theirs. Plus I'm busy in the garden, I don't care what happens. Anyway, 1-year-old wood chips doing a pretty good job. Creedmoor knows this isn't going to last forever. I've got to get another layer of wood chips on top of this. The only reason I don't put compost over here is because we're not actively growing anything other than perennials. And it's not necessary. So there you have it. Hope you get a better feel for what to do and how to manage a garden that's right in the middle of Bermuda grass. It's not such a daunting task. It just takes some knowledge and adjust your practices. Don't use the lawnmower as a launching device to shoot seeds of Bermuda grass all over your garden because your friend told you it'd be great if you put grass on top of the garden. Trust me, that's a bad, bad idea. In the middle of an ocean of Bermuda, I manage over 8,000 square feet of gardens. If I followed that advice, I'd been sunk. Anyway, folks, thanks for tuning in and thanks for chilling out. God bless and happiness and joy in your gardens.